Scenario 3. Cohesion. It became clear early on that digitalization would not bring only benefits, but also risks and conflicts, calling for new rules of play as regards employment relations. Thus, the future of work was not only the occasion for countless political debates, specialist conferences, public consultations, and a plethora of media reports, but increasingly also a topic of negotiation in collective agreements and company agreements. A lot needs to be sorted out. What can be done to prevent employees from losing out? What new ideas on vocational training would be most useful? What kind of data is being gathered, and how is it being used? What degree of flexibility can the two sides expect? What kind of health and psychological risks are entailed by the introduction of more and more algorithms and bots in everyday working life? The growing importance of digitalization issues is stimulating interest in Works Council and trade union activities, in particular among many younger employees. In the face of the economic turbulence and excesses of the platform economy in the first half of the 2020s, confrontation is becoming more acute as regards how the costs and benefits of digitalization can be distributed more fairly. The fact that many jobs are being lost, while others are being created elsewhere, and the fact that precarious employment is simply a fact of life in many areas. Statutory labour standards, social security systems, and co-determination rights are being recalibrated. The Works Constitution Act has been replaced by the Supply Chain Constitution Act. Because digitalization gives rise to very different challenges in different sectors, sometimes even inside firms, and in order to be able to keep pace with such rapid change, the social partners and the various parties in the workplace are given considerable room to manoeuvre. But even collective agreements and company negotiation outcomes take time, as does their implementation. Many look on in frustration as, time and again, particular issues are overtaken by events. Internal opinion forming, mutual information flows, and negotiation processes are therefore streamlined and made more efficient, not least by the use of digital technology. Company structures and co-determination processes are becoming more transparent and democratic. Precisely because the world has become less comprehensible, the need for stability, job security, and plannable work processes and times is increasing. Generally speaking, the trend is, once again, in the direction of long-term, standardized, and collective agreement-based employment relations. A contributory factor in this is the fact that, in relation to service contracts, social insurance contributions now have to be paid by both customer and contractor. Sectoral collective agreements lay down minimum standards that apply to all forms of employment, including freelancers. As a result, cost savings by means of temporary agency workers, service contracts, and crowd work are scarcely feasible. In any case, even the employer's side benefits from stable relations and competition that's not achieved in terms of personnel costs. The growing proportion of older employees and the fact that more people are having to care for relatives also mean that mobility is declining. Labour markets are becoming more regional. In order to retain and further develop know-how in the company, on-the-job training schemes are being expanded. The Federal Agency for Employment and Qualifications sets standards, and training measures are implemented by trade union and company in-house training providers. The integration of digital innovations in daily working life takes place in accordance with criteria that go well beyond mere feasibility and economic calculation. Trade unions and other co-determination actors have a major say. Not everything that would be technically possible is in fact implemented. At enterprise level, the principle applies that no new algorithms are introduced without the involvement of the Works Council. Physically burdensome activities can largely be eliminated by digitalization and automation processes. Digital real-time monitoring of safety in the workplace and of workers' health has now become the norm. In the event that technological change gives rise to extremely monotonous activities or other stresses, they are compensated with reduced working hours. In order to remain attractive as employers or as interest representatives, more is done to accommodate individual needs. Almost all collective agreements now include different working time and remuneration models from which employees can choose the option that best suits them. Many opt for less working time rather than more money. It's not only during economic downturns that strong co-determination and good relations between employers and employees have proved their worth. Even the conversion towards a sustainable economic model that had been looming in the 2020s can only move at a pace dictated by mutual trust. And finally, employers and employees are in the same boat when it comes to getting companies ready for the future. Processes must be made more efficient in short order, while energy and resource throughput and environmentally harmful emissions have to be drastically reduced. There is much more responsibility for the whole supply chain than in the past. Ecological and social sustainability data are now key performance factors on the balance sheet. The seamless integration of data on development, production, sales, use and disposal of products is a key step towards an environmentally friendly circular economy. In 2035, the average working week in Germany is 26 hours. Working time reductions, demographic change, and effective training systems have all helped to make a sufficient number of decent jobs available. Furthermore, company agreements are now commonly referred to as algorithms. Although digital data collection systems are pervasive, the areas in which the employer may not collect data are clearly defined so that the employee's personal sphere is preserved. Success was not inevitable. Their conflicts of interest, regulatory needs, and negotiation processes cost the social partners time and resources. But in the end, more sustainable outcomes have been achieved than in countries lacking such a robust workers' voice culture.